Well, hello, my good friends. Welcome. Today I want to do an introduction to the mathematical topic of slope. So get a pencil and a straight edge to work with today. I use a Pentel P209 and this little thing, but any kind of a pencil with a straight edge would work, and hopefully the worksheet that I've got if you have access to it. But slope, in my opinion, is the most important topic in all of high school mathematics. Shows up in Algebra 1, see it in Geometry, Algebra 2. It actually is a fairly serious consideration in calculus. In fact, I would say maybe half of Calculus 1 is based upon the discussion of slope. But it's interesting. Anyway, save that perhaps for later. So let's today just talk about an introduction to the idea. So let's get ready to go. Let me share my desktop with you. Okay, you should be seeing my desktop, and the question here says, number one, graph the lines by plotting the 2 points provided. So -4 and 1, remember that this is an ordered pair, which is the x value first and then the y value second, and that's the distance from the origin here, 0. So -4 and 1 means I'm going to go left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go up 1 point. There's the point. -4, 1, and then 2, 3, I'm going to go to the right 2 units, 1, 2, and then up 1, 2, 3, there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my straight edge, and I'm going to put my pencil point down. I'm going to move the straight edge such that it would touch the pencil point, and then I'm going to angle it around so that I leave room for the pencil thickness of the lead, and then draw straight through. Oh my goodness, it looks like I missed a little bit. Well, better to erase it and start over than have it be a missing. Your goal is to get it as precise as you possibly can. So pencil point down, straight edge up against the pencil point. Think about how far your first point is from the edge of the ruler, and then draw the same thing, hopefully here. Oh, there we go. Well, had a little bit of a malfunction on that, but make your line straight. Make sure that they go right through the points, because what does it mean to have a graph of the equation? If you're going to graph an equation, it's the collection of all the solution points, so they need to be precise. Make sure your graphs are neat and orderly. All right, number 2 now. That's simple enough. That was kind of almost even review. Number 2, graph the lines by plotting the single point provided, and then find the next point by the change described from the first point. So I'm going to give you 1 point and then tell you where to go from that. The change between points is always the y change first and then the x change second. Okay, so the point -2, 1. So left 2, up 1. Here we go. Now, how do I find the next point? I'm going to go up 2 units and then right 5 units. So up 2, 1, 2, and then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my next point right there. And now I'm going to draw the line between those 2 points. There we go. Put arrows on the end of your lines. Notice I had something 2 and something 5, but it was not the point 2, 5. It's not the ordered pair 2, 5. It's the change. It's how I go between points. All right, so 0, 2, which would be 0 for the x, and then up 2, which would be that location right there. And then what is this? Remember that the y changes first, so this is my change in y. How do I go -3 on y? Isn't that down 3 units? And how do we go +4 on the x? Isn't that right? Down, a change of down on the y means negative, and a change of to the right on the x means positive. So the sign, remember, the sign purpose for a sign shows you direction. So I'm going to now go down 3 units, 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. That point right there. This is kind of awkward to do, like with the document camera and all of that, but I'm going to do it. Draw it through. There we go. Now, if you can look, I went down 1, 2, 3, down 3, and then I went to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next point on the graph. I could have done the same thing. I could have gone down 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would have given me this point over here, but I'm off the scale. Oh my goodness, this is even different. So plot the point 1, 4. So 1 to the right and then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And then what is this? This is like some kind of a fraction. Remember, it's the change in the y first. So this change right here means -2 for the y. What does that mean? That means down 2. And then what does this change on the x mean right here? Right 4. So now down 2, 1, 2, and then right 1, 2, 3, 4. Look, I'm almost off the edge of the paper, but there's my point. And there we go. All right, so that's what slope is. Slope is not the location. It's how you change location. And it's given by the change in the y value first over the change in the x value. It's, maybe you've seen this before. It's a change in the y. The Greek letter delta there, the triangle, means change. It's not what the y is, it's what the y is changing. Change in y divided by change in x. Or maybe you've seen something like rise over run or something along those lines. It's always going to be the change in the y value first, go up or down first, and then go left or right second. Okay, back page. Determine the change between the points using the words up, down, and left, right. Well, so here's a graph that's already been given. And if you'll notice, I've got 2 points here on the graph. Usually I would want to go from the leftmost point to the rightmost point. So let's do the y change first. In order to move from this point here, the first point, I'll call that point number 1, to this point over here, point number 2, do I go up or down? Well, obviously I would go down. But how many units? 1 units, 2 units, 3 units? Is that in line here with this other point? Yes, I would go down 3 units. And then would I go to the right or to the left to get to the next point? I would go to the right. How many units to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units. Okay, so down 3, right 6 to go to that location. I'm just curious. Well, we'll come back to that. B, using signs and numbers. So here I had to use words, up, down, and left, right for the signs, but now I'm going to use signs directly. Using signs and numbers. Remember, the sign means direction. So again, I'm going to call the leftmost point the first one and the rightmost point the second one. To going from this point to that point, do I go up or down? Well, it's apparent that I would go up, but I'm not going to write UP. I'm going to write the sign that means upward change. What is that? Positive. And then how far up do I go? 1, 2, 3 units again. Up 3 units. And then I'm going to go to the right, which would be the sign on the x change. That would be the positive. I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, whoops, hang on here, start at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, 5 units. So it went positive 3 on the change for y, and then positive 5 on the change for x. Okay, now we're going to get down to it. How do we do it as a ratio? Here we go. Starting from this point, going to that point. Do I go up or down first? I go up. 1, 2, 3. So that's a positive 3. And then I would go to the right. 1, 2, 3 units. So also positive 3 there. So what's my change as a ratio? Well, 3 over 3. If I were just to write that as a fraction, 3 over 3, what does that reduce to? Doesn't it reduce to like 1 over 1, which is just 1? Yeah, it does. Because slope is always a ratio, which means it can be reduced. You should always reduce your fractions in a sense. It gives you your what's called the unit ratio. And if you look here, if I go up 1, right 1, I'm at the point on the graph again. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Okay, we couldn't do that one here. Up 3, right 5. If I were to write that as a fraction, 3 over 5, that doesn't reduce at all for that one. But what about this one? This one was down 3, right 6. Doesn't that reduce to down 1? And then right, 2? Is that the same thing? I mean, as a fraction, it means the same thing. Does it mean the same thing with regard to the concept? What if I start at this first point and I go down 1 unit and then right 2 units? Oh, look, there I am. I'm back on the graph. I go down 1, right 2. Look, there I am again. Down 1, right 2. There I am again. Okay? So the slope is the change between points. And you can have a rather large change that reduces down to a smaller unit change. Those are the same slopes. Okay? Well, and that's about it. There is a formula involved, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 or something like that. But if you can just remember that it's the change in the y value over the change in the x value, that's the concept. Remember, it doesn't tell you what the y value is, it just tells you how it's changing from the previous one. It doesn't tell you what the x value is, it just tells you how it's changing from the previous one. In any case, I hope you have a great day. May your day be merry and bright, and may all your mathematics be right.